Grandma!
Hey, how are you doing? Here, I made a pie. Have some?
Oh, thanks, Grandma. This is awesome. Liam, we gotta come back here again. Bye, Grandma!
Bye!
Legends of Runeterra has over 90 different champions to choose from to make decks of all types of playstyle, and all of these champions have certain objectives that need to be reached before they can get to their true potential. These are called level ups. My name is Kryn, and today we will be looking at the top 5 hardest to level up champions in the game. I will be basing my thoughts on a few rules. We will be looking at how hard it is to level up a champion in their designated decks. Champions like Scion, who need to have a total of 35 power discard or summoned before leveling up, sounds really hard, but they're in a deck that focuses on grinding out to that objective. Scoring will be based on how many turns they might take to level up, how much external resources they need, and how difficult it is overall. And finally, this is completely my opinion, you might have a different ranking than me, and that is a-okay. If you like this type of lore content, dropping a like, subscribing, and most importantly, a comment for the YouTube algorithm is always appreciated as it helps a lot. Anyways, without further ado, let's get started with the countdown. Starting off with number 5, we have Viego. To level up Viego, he needs to see allies with a total of 20 plus power die, and with the ability to summon Encroaching Mist that continue to ramp in power, this can take around 3 to 4 turns, but the payoff is amazing as level 2 Viego wins you games. Encroaching Mist also buffs Viego's stats so Viego can tank quite a few hits, and with an Encroaching Hydra on the board, leveling up Viego is a piece of cake. All you need to do is keep Viego alive for a couple of turns, but if he ever gets removed, the counter resets. Luckily, Encroaching Mist buffs are permanent, so not all progress is lost. Viego is just summoned a bit too late in the game at round 6. You won't often level up Viego, but it's very possible to do it, and that's why Viego is my number 5. Next off, we have Renekton at number 4. Renekton needs to deal 10 damage to level up. You can start to see a pattern in this list as all the champions need to be on the board to level up. Dealing 10 damage sounds easy enough. Renekton can do this by attacking a challenged unit before blocking the next turn, but the issue is that you need to keep Renekton alive after the second attack. There's a lot of different supporting cards that help Renekton level up, like Desert Duel, Quicksand, or any striking spell, but a Croc cannot level up by himself. Renekton is only a 4/4 when he's out of combat, and in Overwhelmed decks, there's not many protection spells for Renekton to use. Renekton is understated and I wouldn't mind if he got a slight buff, but for now, he's my number 4. This may surprise some of you, but Twisted Fate is my number 3. TF levels up after they see you draw 9 cards, so you have to manage to draw 9 cards while also keeping TF alive, which mind you has a base stat line of 2/2. Without spells, this would take 9 turns, which is impossible in a normal match, but Bilgewater has tons of supporting cards that help turbo out 9 cards. Willy Newtfish, Darkened Harpoon, Eye of Nagakaboros, and even TF's own champion spell, Pick a Card, works great for drawing cards. If played correctly and precisely, TF can be leveled up easily in his designated decks. If Nami wasn't nerfed and could buff the health of allies, TF would have taken the number 4 spot on this list. Nowadays, TF is played in pirate aggro decks which don't focus on leveling him up, but instead uses versatility for flexible plays. My number 2 is Master Yi, who needs to do 12 damage by themselves. Like Renekton, you have to deal damage with a squishy champion, but Master Yi is squishier. Master Yi gains a permanent +2 power each round if you cast 2 spells or effect the round prior, but for this to happen, Master Yi needs to be on the field for round end. This means Yi can't start stacking until he's present on the field. Yi is also in a region that doesn't have any strike spells to help Yi advance his level up, but instead has a lot of recalls and stuns, which doesn't let Yi damage an opponent. If you're casting 2 spells every turn, you're quickly running out of resources. I don't know how good Master Yi's level 2 is because I never had to face one, but I'm guessing it's very scary. We live in the meta and Yi is my number 2. And before I say my number 1, here are my honorable mentions. Braum needs to survive 10 damage to level up. Back then, this would be fairly easy, but in today's meta, 6 health isn't that much. Freljord also has some good cards to protect him though. Aesol, while it's difficult to stall the game until round 10, Aesol's level up condition is not that bad. It's just the journey that's difficult. And lastly, Tahm Kench is a bad champion, but decks that continue to heal him and buff his stats make leveling him up fairly doable. But now for my number 1. Zoe is my number 1. Even though she's the best one-cost champion and she's really good at doing her job, you have to admit, Zoe's level up condition is hard. You have to play 10 different cards while also keeping Zoe on the field. So if your opponent has pings, elusive units, challenger units, or recalling cards, you are never going to get to that point. Zoe decks do specialize in playing a lot of different cards, but if your opponent knows to remove Zoe before she hits 6 or 7 out of 10 cards, you have to go back from the start with even less resources than before, and deeper into the match where your opponent has more mana to spend. Zoe is cool, I think her level 2 effect is really unique, but gee whiz does she have weaknesses. And that's why she's my number 1. I want to apologize to Hatboy, the number 1 Zoe player in lore. But that's that. These are my top 5 hardest to level up champions in the game. Did I miss one? Let me know in the comments. Anyways, I'm Crin. Don't do illegal. Don't play Yu-Gi-Oh! Alright, peace.